Okay, we're going to plant potatoes today. Now there's two ways of doing it. You can either put them in pots if you've only got a patio or a small garden, haven't got room for rows of potatoes in the garden, haven't got an allotment, grow them in pots, which is what I'm going to do here. But you can also grow them on an allotment, obviously, plant them outside, and my colleagues there, Emma and Tony, are doing just that. But I'm going to be planting in pots, all sorts of containers you can use. Pots, obviously, this is a 15 litre pot, so quite a good size, quite a big size. You can use old compost bags, like this one, turn them inside out, obviously a bit ugly if you've got all the writing on there. So you turn them inside out first so they're black, make a few holes in the bottom for drainage, just a few, and then you can just fold over the edges, a bit like we've done here with this one. Put your potato in there and then gradually roll it up as the potato grows. That's another way. Or you can buy potato bags like this, specially made potato bags. Or you can buy these sorts of bags. Now these are a bit smaller, about 8 litres these, once you've got them into shape, so a bit smaller than the pot there. Now a lot of exhibitors use these to grow their potatoes. Keeps them nice and clean for the show bench, so that when you actually lift them out, because they've been grown in potting compost rather than soil, they're all lovely and clean, and they just need a little wipe over and a wash, and they're ready to go on the show bench. But no reason why we can't use them as well, just for for our own eating potatoes. And the other advantage of these smaller bags over something very big, none of these are particularly large, but some of the potato planters you can buy are very big. It's been found just recently that smaller containers actually produce more potatoes than big ones. No one really knows why. Perhaps it's a competition or something. They're sort of struggling. They've only got a little bit of compost to grow in. It tends to make them produce more spuds than if you've got a big container. Sort of volume-wise, you'll get more potatoes from something smaller like this than from a big container, which is good news for us because it means we haven't got to buy quite as much compost. So I'm going to use one of these. Now if you were using this sort of size, you'd only need one potato per container. Any more than that and it's just too much, they just compete and you don't get a very good crop. So these special potato bags, which you can buy from some of the seed companies, got nice big holes in already for drainage, that's all sorted. What you can also use these holes for is if you really want to and you want to stand these outside, you could dig over the soil, stand these on the soil and then allow the roots to come through, and that gives them a little bit more growing room. But we're going to just grow these on a patio and see how we get on. So take your bag, lock it into shape because they come folded flat. Put some compost in the bottom, get all the big lumps out of it. Now you don't need too much there. You probably just want to put a few inches in the bottom of the bag to start with. So I'll do that. So breaking up all the lumps as you go. And you literally just get your tuber, your potato. If you've been shitting these as we did last month, you'll have little shoots coming, and obviously those shoots go uppermost. So you just put one tuber in the middle of the bag. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. Put one in the middle of the bag and then just cover it over. Now with these smaller bags, you'd actually fill the whole thing. Fill it right to the top, water it, and that's it, job done. And you just put them somewhere. It depends when you're planting them. If you're doing them in the spring, obviously potatoes are tender, so they mustn't get frosted. So you've got to put them in a cold greenhouse, or just next to the house wall is often enough to keep the frost off. Doesn't need to be any more than that. If you're doing them a little bit later in the year, obviously if the frost isn't a problem, then it doesn't matter. But obviously you've got to keep the frost off in the early stages. So I tend to put mine in a cold greenhouse, just unheated greenhouse or polytunnel for the time being. Other than that, you just let them grow. As I say, you'd normally fill this right up. I won't do it because it's taken a lot of time to do it, but you'd fill that up, give it a good water, put it to one side. If you were growing in these bags, as I say, you'd put just a couple of inches, an old compost bag like this, a couple of inches in the bottom, tuber in exactly the same way, cover it over with a couple of inches of compost. As the shoots come through, put more compost in, until you've gradually unfolded the bag, until you've filled the bag right up. And that's just a cheap way, a nice cheap container, recycling your bags to produce your spuds.